How do you go from looking like this to an office that is fully done from scratch? Dr. Nate here at Thrive Dental Orthodontics, and we have built over 9 offices, and I thought I would do something a little different. I wanted to do a little vlog on how we make the offices go from looking like this, like there's really nothing going on, to being a full-fledged offices that are doing very well for themselves. So what I want to do is I'm going to try to do this weekly. This is our brand new office. This is our 9th office. I want to do kind of like weekly, maybe semi-weekly check-ins where I go through and let people know how we're basically building these offices from scratch. And in each video, I'm going to try to give a pearl. Hopefully, I'm going to give a pearl. And so if you are a dentist, if you're trying to open your own office, or maybe you're opening one with us and you're just like, hey, how are we doing this? So first thing, let's talk about location selection. I've talked about this before. Typically, you want to have a broker that's helping you out. That's going to tell you all the different areas you should go to. You don't want to just drive around and try to find one. But that is not what's happened here. I can't really show you, but if you were to look across the street, it's a decently busy intersection. I'm here on a Saturday afternoon, and I wonder if you could even see any of that stuff. I might have to take some B-roll of that so you can see it. But it is a busy intersection. So maybe 6 months ago, we're looking for another location. We had some in mind, nothing were really that good. And I was just across the street. Across the street is a Whole Foods. I was just grabbing some food, and I looked across the street and I was like, dude, there's this place available. But it's kind of small. This is 2,200 square feet. For us, that's small. I think this is our smallest location. We like at least 2,500, 3,000 is our gold spot. But I saw this and looked, and I was like, dang, I wonder if it's for sale. I wonder if we can lease it. And of course we inquired and we were able to lease it because I think it was a GameStop in here that was going out of business. But what do we look for? Here's some pearls, or here's some things that we look for when we're opening a new office. Number one is growth of the location. If there's some growing, if you're going to be in the burbs, you want to make sure it's something that's really growing. Just because there's not much competition, if there's no growth, that is not a good thing. But this is in the city. We're in Dallas City, so there is going to be a little growth, but it's packed. There's not much room where you can just build full, skyscrapers and stuff. It's not going to have the same crazy growth that the burbs will have. So what else do we look for? The next biggest thing is we are looking for density. I want it to be dense. I think this location had somewhere between 200,000 to 300,000 people within a 3-mile radius. So there's a lot of people. So we want to make sure there's density. The last thing we look for, and I used to be very much a big stickler on this, but we aren't as much anymore, is the density, or not the density, it's the actual ratio of dentists to people, basically. So we used to always want there to be at least one, or we at least want it to be 1 to 2,000 ratio. So 1 dentist for every 2,000 people now is what we're looking for. And in Texas, we could get that no problem. It's starting to get definitely quite a bit harder now, but that's actually not something we look for quite as much as we used to. Now, because I think we're making, a name for ourselves and we're not as nervous about the competition, getting those ratios are not as important as they once were. So site selection's done. We did our lease negotiation, which I'll probably go through in another video, but this is what happened. We were able to sign the lease. We were able to put up some drawings because we want to have the drawings done before the lease is fully signed. But, when we were making our design, the designers did not come out here and verify all the widths and heights and depths of all the different doors. And so when they made the plan actually didn't fit the actual drawing. And we did not know that until after we got a permit from the city. So that meant that we have to then go back to the drawing board, change some things, have to get a new permit, which put us back a ton. And as you're building, you're gonna know this. When you're building, time is money. So if you take long and it takes, a few extra weeks in order to get the plans, then that means you're gonna be down a lot of money. So that was the worst thing that happened to us. And we were able to kind of somewhat get back on track. But once we started drilling into this concrete here, as I said, there's a GameStop that was in here before us, we realized their plumbing was not good enough for a dental office. So we had to fix out new plumbing, get new plumbing in here, which wasn't a big deal, but we had to get more permits from the city, which put us back even further. So our typical build out is roughly 90 days. This one is probably gonna go in 6 or 7 months. which is tough because as we're negotiating the lease, we normally get a 150-day build out period where they'll allow us to build out for 150 days and then they start giving us some free rent. We're definitely going to go through that. I think we're going to blow through definitely the build out period and probably some of the free rent, which is not good. But this is what the build out's going to look like. I know it's tough to see, but here's the front desk. And then to the right here is going to be a bathroom. And we, even though it's 2,200 square feet, this little, it's going to be a manager's room. Even though it's 2,200 square feet, we're still going to try to get 6 ops. So we got one there, another here. We got pan staff room to our left. We got a couple more op rooms. And then I can't go back here because it is super dark and probably haunted. So let's go back to the front. So guys, that's step number 1. You got to find a good location. Most of the time I recommend using brokers, but hey, sometimes you may get lucky. But if you get lucky and you're like, man, this spot is pretty good, still get somebody to help you out with the numbers, still get somebody to help you out with the negotiation. I'm a big firm believer in that. There's some people that do not use brokers, which I think is not the smartest idea because you always want to have somebody who has a lot of knowledge, especially if it's your first time. Okay, maybe if it's your 10th, 15th, 20th time opening an office, maybe you may not need a broker, maybe because you've done so many times, but there's so many subtle nuances that you don't understand that a broker does, and they are able to get these contracts negotiated properly so that if something does go wrong, which it did on this location, we have our butts covered. So Pearl is, use a broker, get a good location, make sure you negotiate properly, and try to foresee absolutely everything in the future. Of course you can't do that, but it helps if you have a broker that can kind of guide you along the way. So once again, Dr. Nate here at Thrive Dental. This is our 9th location. I'm going to guide you through how we're going from square one, from basically 0, all the way to an open, thriving dental office. So I'll see you guys in a few weeks.